Greetings. I'm Sarah Flounders, a U.S. citizen. For 50 years, a supporter of the Palestinian struggle for the right of return, the right of sovereignty, the right of self-determination. I'm a co-director of the International Action Center, a contributing editor to Workers' World newspaper. I help to coordinate the United National Anti-War Coalition. And I describe this because based on past and continuing work, I was invited to take part in an international delegation to Cairo in November 9th, a month after the October 7th resistance and the Israeli attack in Gaza. Our aim was to take desperately needed supplies to the Rafah crossing to gain entry into Gaza, which was under horrific Israeli attack. At that time, Rafah was still open. We had every expectation this aid could be delivered. Later, it was totally destroyed by Israeli forces. We were assured that we could take part in an Egyptian delegation going in buses and trucks taking supplies to Rafah. Our passports were cleared with Egyptian officials. However, when we arrived at the buses to go to Rafah in Cairo in the morning, government officials suddenly informed us that we could not take part, could not travel through Egypt's many military checkpoints in the Sinai to Rafah. The Egyptians who were allowed to travel as far as Rafah later told us that they had no assurance that any of the aid they were bringing actually reached Gaza, that their trucks of supplies were left with hundreds and hundreds of other trucks that stretched for miles on the Egyptian side of the border. They were frustrated because all the Egyptians who had sent supplies didn't know that their aid wasn't being delivered, were not informed of this by the Egyptian government. Now, our international delegation decided then to take a letter to the U.S. Embassy in Cairo to express our opposition to U.S. aid to Israel during this horrific attack on Gaza. Many delegations around the world do this as a political message, just deliver a letter to the acting ambassador of our concern. However, at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, we were met by ranks of Egyptian police who threatened us. The 12 people who were gathered to deliver the gates at the gate of the U.S. Embassy were denied. A U.S. officer in charge of security came out, asked our purpose. We held out our envelope, asked that we wanted to deliver it just to the embassy or to him personally to take inside. He held up his arm, snapped his fingers, and the Egyptian police descended on us from every side, roughly grabbed us, handcuffed us, literally threw us into police vans. We were taken to a holding center, again roughly searched, held for hours, interrogated, and released later that night. Really, in every way, this is a cause of great concern of the conduct of Egypt. The massive Israeli destruction of Gaza has its supply lines directly from the U.S. We have every right to be concerned. And the Egyptian government has a message in its media to the people of Egypt of supplies, but in reality have been complicit in the war in Gaza. The new President Donald Trump has called for the total ethnic cleansing of the entire population of Gaza, 2.2 million people, into Egypt and Jordan, and we sincerely hope that Egypt will refuse to take part in this international crime and will play a different role than what it seems their role has been.